All right. And we're live. Welcome to paraglidingtalk.com. I'm your host, Robert Michaels, and I am glad you're here. We have a great show lined up tonight. No special guest tonight. The special guest is you. You decided to log in and talk all things paragliding. We're going to do that tonight. We're also going to talk about forward launches tonight. You're not going to want to miss a second of this episode. Also, if you're in the chat, chime in, come hang out for the long haul. And if you do some chatting, your name's going to go on the spinny wheel of winning things. And we're going to give something away about the halfway mark. And also just want to say I appreciate everybody for being faithful to the show, coming out, hanging out, and giving your comments. If you see somebody with a wrench next to their name, it's because they've done something exceptional in the community, in the flying community, or they've done something exceptional for the show. And so appreciate those guys. And a lot of them are they're lifers. We've been doing this show for almost, 4 years now, and pretty amazing people you meet along the way. Pretty cool. So these are exceptional people. Just because you don't have a wrench next to your name doesn't mean you're not exceptional. Really appreciate you guys this is why we do the show. So you're actually the most important of all. So thank you for jumping on, and welcome. We're going to take your comments and questions. So if you ask a question during the show, your question will be brought over into the main chat from the guys' moderation, and that information will get basically highlighted to me, and then I'll ask questions after it goes through the screening process. And then also we have some great sponsors. I want to mention those real quick. That's PPG Smoke is one of our main sponsors. PPG Smoke has all kinds of stuff. Actually, my son Callan drew a picture of Ryan Roberts for us. Check it out. And so, yep, pretty amazing, really good drawings there. And I'm just kidding. That's not Ryan Roberts. But anyways, pbgsmoke.com is the website. You want to buy some stuff for your flying endeavors. Also, paramotorprops.com. If you accidentally blow up a prop, or you bought a brand new shiny unit and you're saying, I want to put a brand new shiny prop on it. They got all kinds of great things, great resources for you, and they'll answer all your questions. Make sure you get the right size prop and all that stuff. Go to paramotorprops.com. Also want to mention American Allied Drains and Plumbing. Amazing plumbing service here. Unfortunately, it's just for the locals here in San Diego. But if you want to reach out to them, you can call their number, 844-777-9055. American Allied Drains and Plumbing is your plumbing company. And if you mention Paragliding Talk, you will get 10% off of your whatever plumbing needs you have. And that it can be a tall order. You never know. You need a reline. You're going to pay like 40 or 50 grand. 10% off would be really nice. It's like $5,000. So also want to just really quickly say I appreciate Sean. Sean tonight has COVID. And so we want to, Sean, you need to put your mask on.
Yeah.
So Sean, yeah. So he's been hurt, but he's on the tail end of it. So he's alive, and he's going to be spinning the wheel of winning things tonight. Okay, so
tonight's that's how dedicated I am. Even sick,
right.
I spin the wheel.
That's right. We got to keep the people happy, Sean. We can't be just making excuses like COVID.
I know.
We just wouldn't let that happen. You know what I mean? And plus,
yeah.
I know
it's
Sean.
Moral obligation, you know.
Oh man.
I did all this just to get Paragringo covered up. See, it makes my eyes feel better.
Oh, well, a lot of people in the chat tonight. I just want to say thank you guys. Look, we got Tony Marzano. What's up, man? Super Dave Dangerous Paraglide Adventures Free Flying. That's a rad name. Welcome, Super Dave. Glad you're here. Charlie Walsh, what's up, brother? We got Kenton Chatelaine. I feel like that's a familiar name. Also, Mom's in the chat. Hey, Mom. We got Wilson. Wilson said, I like Robert's shirt. Thank you, Wilson. I got this for Christmas. I think it might be my new favorite shirt. Who else is in here? We got F. Hayes. Welcome, Mr. Hayes. Got
Wilson.
Yeah. James Cato, welcome. Okay, glad you guys are here. Every once in a while, I think it's good that we just stop and say what's up to everybody. Just want to fly. Welcome. Rip Man Riding's in the house. What up, Rip? I don't know if you can come on, Rip, but I sent you an invite if you want to join us. Also, Hot Buttered Steve. Welcome, Hot Buttered Steve. Glad you're here. Do you remember the show? It was called The Man Show. Remember that?
Yeah.
Adam Carolla.
Yep.
It was
And Dr. Drew.
Dr. Drew.
But also Jimmy Kimmel.
Yes, Jimmy Kimmel. During that time, I'm actually mixing up. There was The Man Show was great. There was another show, a guy that by the name of Tom Green from Canada.
Oh yeah, he had his left testicle removed from cancer.
Yeah, poor guy. I forgot all about that. That's that must have been burned in your mind.
Kind of odd. The only thing that stuck out.
hard to remember. The guy was polarizing. But do you remember the guy that he had in the? He would just be in the background, and he'd just be somewhere sitting at a desk or maybe in a little kind of off the stage area, and he just had a mug, and it must have been just some water in there. But he would just. But Tom Green would say something funny, and he would just go.
Oh yeah,
and he would sip the coffee.
That's got to be Hot Butter.
That's Hot Butter Steve. I kind of want to bring him on, just for him to just do that. Yeah. So glad you guys are here. Super cool. So here's why we're having this show. And some of you were like, you saw the title and you're like, Ford launches. Oh my gosh, how much more boring can you get? Paraglidingtalk.com, you're blowing it. This is personal. So the other day we did a hiking and sled, and I mean, it's a season for sleds, right? That's Christmas sledding. So we did a hike, and there was no wind, and so we had to do forwards. And both of us are. This was with Nick Hawks. Neither one of us are really experts. I feel like Nick's better at forwards just because he's all around genuinely better at athletic things. And so I just said, okay, here we go. We're going to do a forward launch. And it's not that I don't know how, it's just I don't do it often. I like to reverse kite. Hey, Trevor Steele's in the chat. Trevor Steele knows you can, he can kite up a pole. And I too can kite up a pole and reverse kiting. And this is a very mandatory, I would argue, here in the States. Now, I found out that in Europe, most of the time, they're doing forwards, even if there's wind, even if there's enough wind to do a reverse launch. I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum, where I would rather do a reverse launch, even if there's no wind. I might take a shot at a no wind. If I've got enough runway, I'm going to try reverse kite no matter what first. But when it's literally dead, completely dead on the ground, dead air, I'll do a forward. So I had to do that. Well, I kind of embarrassed myself because I went to launch. There's a few mistakes that I made. I didn't commit completely and fumbled a little bit on brake toggle location and a couple other little things. So I learned some lessons. I'm not going to share the video. I'm not going to go through all the stuff. But I just wanted to touch on this because there's forward launches they're going to either make you or break you. And it is something that I believe is really underrated, which is your ability to launch properly. So whether you're doing a reverse launch or whether you're doing a forward and you're free flying or motor, there's a few things that we can take away. So right here, I want to just mention this. I had this conversation with Bill Russman, and he's interested in analyzing a few of our launch videos. Maybe we've got some launch fail videos or some, but it's your video that you're saying, you know what, I want to get better at it. We're talking in a few weeks. So next week, we've got a special guest, Mike from Air Design. He's a test pilot for Air Design. Mike is going to join us next week, which is the 5th. So I'm excited about that episode and should enjoy that one. So chime in next week for sure if you want to ask questions of a test pilot for air design. He's going to be in Europe, so he's going to have to stay up late and make way for the show at like 3:30 in the morning or something like that. Yeah, that's commitment, by the way. So let's talk a little bit about forward launches. My expertise, I would argue, is in reverse kiting. So when I have to do something new, it takes me much longer than I normally would take because of the lack of repetitions. So let that be the first lesson. Repetitions are everything. So with your forward launches, you're going to need to practice this more than just once a year. So I think I did a forward launch with a motor maybe 3 or 4 times with Gringo. And other than that, I'm not doing forwards. When it comes to free flying, I think it had been 2 years since I did a forward launch up until this point. Maybe that's exaggerating, maybe like at least a year. And one of the big things that you need to consider, and I'm going to go through, I did take some notes and I wrote some things down so that we're not too scatterbrained, because I get off track pretty easy. Wing setup is critical. Now, many of you know, and again, we're talking about fundamentals, but let me just say this before you tune me out and say, yeah, I already know how to forward launch and I'm going to go, watch reruns of, whatever. Your forward launches should be absolutely perfect. There's no reason. I bet you Trevor Steele and his program, I'm willing to bet that they've got some great teaching tools to say, okay, this is what a perfect forward launch should be. And they'll have a whole gauntlet of things that they're going to tell you. What I'm going to tell you tonight is my experience, and I'm not an instructor, but these are things that you're going to take away. I've also linked in the description a video that you can use from a group that makes videos for paragliding called Passion, and you'll really enjoy the video, but don't go watching that just yet. This fundamental thing is going to make or break you. And this is why I felt it was important to have this as a topic to fire off the show. Okay. So we're not going to stay here the whole night and talk all about forward launches. That would just drive everybody nuts. But, we are going to do and just have some fun about halfway through. Your forward launch should be perfect every time. No arguments, no justifications to say, well, there's no reason why you can't have a perfect launch every time. And that goes the same with reverse kiting and no reason why you can't have a perfect launch every time, perfect forward launch. Okay, so let's talk about what makes a perfect launch. Wing
Perfect
setup.
practice.
Perfect
practice makes perfect.
Okay,
and
yep.
Honing those skills. Don't be complacent. Don't skip a step. Pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to the right tool for the right winds in the right area.
Well, slow down. Writing this down. No, so what makes a perfect launch? It starts with your setup. So whether or not here's one of the things that I've come across. You botch a forward launch and you're like, I'm not feeling it. So you abort and you let the wing fall down. What do? You stay in your harness. This is free flying. Stay in your harness. You ball your wing up and you carry it back over to where you first set it up. And then you start to open it up, but you're still in your harness and you're not really getting the full line, testing each line and checking everything that you should be checking, right? So you lay everything down. And but you're still in your harness. Now your lines are kind of wonky and weird. And here's the thing: if you're still strapped in, you've got that extra weight, depending on how heavy your setup is. And this has happened a lot with a motor. Once you get all buckled in, you don't want to unbuckle, especially if you have some of the newer, like Woody Valley has this little string with a ball and a hole, and it just kind of cinches on, where it used to be a buckle that and clip in. Well, they've got rid of weight. The weight of those buckles is too much for some guys. So they want to just, they're like purist with the strings. They got soft links and they've got just, it's all lines now. It's crazy. Some of that stuff takes forever to get into and get out of. So you may not be okay with getting out of your harness to reset, but if you can, I argue, disconnect. If you got no win, you got nothing to lose. Disconnect yourself and lay out your wing perfectly. Okay. Some people are going to say, well, I don't have time for that. And what you're preaching is not good. Once I'm out there, I'm just going to send it or bend it. And if I don't get it right on the first time, I'm just going to keep trying and trying. There's no reason why your first launch shouldn't be your only launch. Just saying. Now, I would argue that if you are good enough to send it right out of the gate, and you have perfect launches every time, then you've done something right, or you're very lucky. Okay, so most of us normal people are going to botch launches and be able to learn from those. And okay, so wing setup. When we lay our wing out, let's consider. And again, I know you already know, but do you really do it? Do you really apply the principles that I'm talking about? Think about that. I don't care if you've been flying for 10 years. Do you really lay it out and think about it each time? Like this is going to be my one and only perfect launch. I watched some videos of these guys launching up in the high altitudes. Actually, Trevor was up there. There was a couple other guys in the chat that were up there, I think. You think about, you don't want to take a chance to blow up a prop when you're on a long vacation. You're somewhere far away. You're not getting another chance. You botch a launch with a forward launch with your motor, game over. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about forward launching paramotors in a second, but okay. Center of the wing first. So we're gonna taunt the wing. I'm gonna share a screen. Let me just see here. I've got this queued up. I'm just going to show you an image, not necessarily share the video. I don't think. Let me just try this. Beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, boop.
Speaking of which, Robert, there was a fly bubble video that was posted up not very long ago about laying your wing out, making sure that things are set, lines aren't twisted and knotted up, and making sure that the center of the wing is actually laid out correctly, to where your ends aren't higher than the center of your wing.
So you saw what I just shared for a second there. I'm going to try this one more time. It's a little bit weird now with the new computer setups got me a little bit confused here. Okay, here we go. Now we're cooking with Crisco. You're going to see the guy is going to pull the wing up. I'm just going to kind of go back here. The first lines that you're going to see are the center A's. And he's probably holding A's all the way across. But what you're going to hear him saying in this video is he's saying you're going to want your wing to come up symmetrically. So if you can do it, if you can bring the whole wing up, that's optimal. But for the most part, you're going to want this section right here to come up first. That main leading edge in the middle, like 30, 40, 50%. But obviously the optimal way is to get the whole wing to come up. Now, why did this wing come up the way it did? It's because he set up his wing the right way the first time. Now, you're checking your A's. Obviously, you're checking your lines. You can see that this guy, the way he's got this set up, it is almost perfectly ready to scoop the air. Okay, so the second most important part, I'm going to stop sharing here for a second. Second most important part is how you grab your risers. Again, I know this sounds fundamental, but this what makes a good launch is the fundamentals. If you're grabbing your lines and you fumble the ball when you grabbed your lines, you grab your brakes, and I'm going back, you need to go to your go back to your instructor when he was talking to you about back in the day, and disconnect your brakes, you follow the leading edge, all that stuff. You can screw up in a millisecond grabbing your toggles and grabbing your brakes, especially if you don't do forward launches often. Really study what's happening. Again, we say that we're going to go fast. We're going to go, 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 go. I want to go. I want to launch. I want to launch. I want to go. You don't get that choice if you don't know how to do it perfectly out of the gate. Okay. So if you don't know how to do it perfect, then you need to take it slow. After you have progressively done it perfect for a long time, then you can do it fast. So the idea that you're going to rush through and get a launch, you got Gringo flying around you and he's on radio and he's like, come on, bro, what's taking so long? We go, hurry up. You can't let that noise get in your head. Gringo does that to me every time, by the way. Flying around me, buzzing me, trying to blow my wing over when he flies by, foot dragging across my launch path. It's like there's some etiquette with golf. You know, you don't cross a person's putting line, right? There's another one like that. When you're standing on launch, never walk over someone's lines, right? You thought I was going to call you out, Gringo. You thought I was going to call you out. I didn't call you out.
Well, you started this long process. It just naturally led right into me.
Yeah.
Come on. You know I don't do that.
He doesn't do that. But he does fly around and harass me because I botched 5 or 6 launches.
I wait for you about 5 to 10 miles away because that's about how long. And then I come back and go, oh, dude, he's resetting again.
So it's very possible. Yeah, you're going to mess up. It's going to happen. But just go slow when you're setting up. It is the slow, tedious efforts that's going to make you an excellent forward launching pilot, and just in general, all the different types. Okay. So having that said, let's talk about the next very important thing. You're not going to want to give full power right out of the gate. This is contrary to what you may have been taught. There's a section of the glider coming up that you're going to run and it's going to pull up, but you're going to feel a lot of restraining, right? Because that wind is that wing is coming up and it's not going to get into the power band until it's right over top of you. I'm sorry. Yeah. The power band is like right here to here. And you're going to feel like you're kind of lifting depending on how much power you're putting into it, even if there's no wind. So you're going to blast into the first part just for a millisecond. And then you're not going to give full power until you have that wing pulling more, not directly over your head, because by the time it got there, you're going to need to check your brakes, but you're not going to want to go full power until you feel it. You'll know when it's time to go full power. If you don't know, you need to practice that and get with an instructor and have somebody work with you on that. Commit. Don't hesitate when you've decided that you're going to do your forward, especially if you're on a steep hill. You're going to need that wing to compensate some of the energy. Because if you didn't have that wing and you're going to run fast down this hill, likely your feet are going to get out in front of you and you're going to fall and you're going to tumble. But when you have your wing, there's an energy transfer that happens when you're running down the hill, where it goes from all of your weight is on your feet to some of your weight is on, and pretty much now all of your weight is in the glider. Okay. So working on those things, very important. Okay. So no hesitation. You want to commit, leading from the hips. Now, for the most part, free flying, we're leading from the hips. Depends on what your setup's like with your paramotor. So you're not going to be able to lead with your hips on your paramotor, but we're going to talk about that separate. Lead from the hips, lean in, and we call it torpedo launch. You're going to throw your weight forward. Now, the reason why you're going to throw your weight forward is because it gives you more traction to your feet, gives you more, you're lowered to the ground, you can get away with more. If you're tiptoeing through the tulips and you're standing upright and you're running, your feet are just kind of not able to do the full stride and get the full energy that you can when you're down low and you're really pushing. You're
Putting your weight into it.
Yeah, you can take a full stride, but when you're upright, it's these little, and you might have to do that with the paramotor. Again, we'll talk about that in a second. So, taking that into consideration, the third thing is momentum. You're gonna have to check that momentum of the wing coming up because it's gonna want to surge in front of you. Again, this goes for both free flying and paramotoring. Don't be the guy that throws the wing out in front of you, collapses and falls on you, especially with the motor. And now you got lines wrapping up. And I've done it, lines wrapping up in the prop, and it's just embarrassing. And I had to abort a good flying day because I blew it and let my wing get pulled in. So those are very important. So we talked about wing loading. You're going to feel there's going to be a few milliseconds there where you're not going to feel anything, especially on no wind launches. So that's something you need to consider. Learning the very sensitive language of your wing in no wind situation, forward launch situations. How can you learn what your wing is telling you when there's very little feedback? Your lines are they're all sending signals, but you're not going to be able to understand those without a ton of repetitions. So those are the tips. The very last tip that I have for you to excel and be excellent in forward launches is film your launches. Have someone, if you've got a friend there, he hasn't launched yet, ask him, hey, can you just film it? If they don't have a phone that has any memory or something like that, give them your phone, hand them your GoPro, do whatever you can to get the footage of you. I'm telling you, this was the best thing for me, was to watch my mistakes and learn from those mistakes on video. And then you can also have other people analyze them. So again, if you weren't with us earlier, Phil Russman is going to analyze some of our flying or some of our launches. So if you've got video, you want to send those to me, you can reach out to me through the website, paraglidingtalk.com, and go to the contact section. And then you can link what you need to link to me so we can have some videos if you want to analyze and he's not asking for anything. He's just going to come on the show and he's going to analyze some of our videos. I'm going to have some of my videos. If you got stuff that you want to analyze, he will be on the show in a few weeks, not next week, but probably the following or the one after, I don't know, at some point in January. So that's what I got, folks, for forward launches. I'm interested in your feedback if you guys want to add some stuff to that.
On what you were talking about, when you pull up the wing and it kind of gets to the point where it stops. It's not going forward. It's not dropping down. That's what I refer to as the stall point of the glider on the ground. It's when you're letting off of your A's or you're hanging on to your A's. You don't want to let go of those A's until it gets to the point where it's above that stall point of the glider, where it will continue going forward instead of falling back. Knowing where that stall point is on that glider is a very important part to forward launching and getting used to that repetition of it's getting to this point. This is where it gets kind of hard. And then, it's shooting forward now. We're good. Whereas it falls backward and just drops out of the sky. There's a particular spot that glider sets where it will actually stay in that spot and not go any further, and it'll drop down, or it will continue going forward, but you have to keep giving it that energy to get it over that one specific spot.
See, those guys are launching with a little bit of wind.
That helps out a lot too.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on the edge of death every time I guess there's not much wind there. Maybe a little touch of wind. Yeah. Such a mystery. It's really one of the more frustrating aspects of my my flying these days is the forward launches.
And each wing is different. Let's not forget to mention that as well. Each wing handles a little differently and is going to have that spot, that special spot where it's going to come up and then it's just going to drop right back down, or it's going to continue moving forward. that spot is at a different angle, each glider, each different size of glider.
Yep.
Each one handles differently. And that's why it's important for you to get out there with your wings and to feel what's going on and to understand what it's telling you.
Yep. I want to mention a couple sponsors real quick. We're going to spin the wheel of winning things, but I want to mention Nebraska PPG. Josh Bowden, he runs a school in Nebraska. If you're interested in getting some top-notch training, you can go up and up to Nebraska or down in Nebraska, whatever you want to say. Sign up with him for next year's training. Obviously, they're covered in snow right now, so you're going to have to wait a couple months before they start to dial up the training again. They got a really nice place up there to train. Nebraska PPG. He doesn't have a website, but he does have the link that's in the description that leads to the Facebook that he has, and you can see what's going on with that. Also want to mention Calamity Kite Clinic. So Sean, if you're ready to spin the wheel, no more names going in the wheel.
Yes, sir. No more names. Ha-ha.
Yep. I've got a couple of we'll give away a shirt tonight.
All right. Good stuff. You ready, Robert?
Yes, sir.
It's happening right now.
The spinning wheel of winning things, brought to you by CalamityKiteClinic.com. Sean actually runs Calamity Kite Clinic, and it's literally just excelling at your abilities to kite your glider. And so if you're interested in getting a hold of those guys, the website is CalamityKiteClinic.com, and Sean will he's the main point of contact. Obviously, he's the guy that runs it. He will teach you how to be excellent at kiting your wing. And I really believe firmly that that is the single most important thing that you're going to do with paragliding for practice, that is. Oh, dang, it might be Gringo. Gringo, if it's you, you only get a sticker. We got a bunch of paraglidingtalk.com stickers, by the way. It's Wilson.
Congratulations,
Yay.
Wilson.
Wilson. Congratulations, Wilson. Congratulations. Wilson, reach out to me through the website, paraglidingtalk.com/contact. And then just let me know what t-shirt size you wear. And we're going to send you out a nice paraglidingtalk.com episode 200 t-shirt while supplies last. Oh dear. Hot Butter Steve donated $10 to Super Chat. He said, Robert, you are the wind beneath my wings. You're also the buffalo sauce I put on my wings. Speaking of which, I like my savior like I like my wings, tender and mild. Very good. Hot Buttered Steve. That's very important. Now, I did have some hot wings not too long ago. The hottest wings that they have at Buffalo Wild Wings. Yeah. You want to burn your mouth off. That's a great way to do it. They are hot. But if you want to be a man, you have to eat them. And I wanted to prove that I'm a man because I'm insecure. It worked. I feel more manly. Gringo, would you eat them?
Yeah, of course.
Carolina Reaper.
Ooh.
Hot wings.
Maybe just one.
Were you there when I brought them to the shop and we ate them in the back?
No. Mm-mm.
Oh, yeah. This is a bad idea.
Yeah, I bet.
It was a bad idea to bring them to work. It's a bunch of men like, oh, yeah, I can eat that. Yeah, I'll have that for breakfast. Bad idea. Will Fly donated $5 to Super Chat. He said, Resurgence PPG rocks. Thank you.
And the office only has one bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah. Bro, I'm telling you, you eat those and your stomach says, I want this out. And it's got one direction, one way to go. Oh yeah, the one chip challenge. Oh, talk about wrecking you. Yeah, I never did the one chip challenge. I feel like that's even worse than taking a bite off of the chili. It just, because it's spreading out that just brutal hotness over your whole tongue instantly. Yeah. Oh, the mini wing DP. That is a great idea. without the mini wing. Yeah, that's true. I flew a mini wing at Torrey Pines, and it was pretty fun. It was terrifying. I wasn't supposed to fly it. I shared the video footage in the after show, so maybe if you want to see that, I'll share it in the after show tonight.
Did you stay up or did you
Yeah.
sled ride? Really?
No, it was super windy that day. It was the day that I launched from the beach and got all the way up and landed at Torrey Pines. It was amazing.
Turns are a lot different.
Yep. Yeah, it was this little thing. I think it is if I remember correctly, it's an 8-meter wing.
Mm-hmm.
By Little Cloud. And so it's just like, yeah. And you're just doing this. Whoa.
It's like a karate kicking gorilla.
Oh man, I was getting a workout, ab workout, hand workout.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. When I finally fixed it and I turned around to launch, they didn't think I was going to actually, I just asked if I could check it out. He didn't think I was going to actually send it because I guess there's some extra training that you need. And I didn't know that. I'm just like, oh, well, I got it. I feel it. And it was lifting me. And I'm like, all right, I got this. And I sent it. And they were like, no. And then I was like, yeah, this is great. And I'm flying around. I have my radio on or nothing like that. And they're all panicking on the ground. Who let him fly that? Who sent him off? They were all yelling. Russman's on the ground. He's trying to give me like hand signals and stuff. I'll share the video afterwards. It's pretty funny. I'm like, wow, this thing's fast. Wow, this is fun. Wow, woohoo. And I fly all around and I come and I land it on the dime, just boop, just landed. I figured it out after a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them were freaking out. You okay? Like, yeah, man, that was fun. Wow. You weren't supposed to fly that. Whoops. Yeah. Flying. Have you seen any more video footage of the mustache? That wing is incredible, man. I
actually saw a guy that had it hooked up to a kite setup. Had it hooked up to a kite harness for snowboarding and such. That was rather interesting. But
what do you mean?
They have the bar. They have a harness that you put on, and the bar, and then you've got, the brake lines that are connected to the center line, and you pull the bar, and it pulls the brake and all that, and you can control it that way, manipulate it just like a kiting parafoil. But I did run across that and was like, okay, that's kind of cool, but kind of defeats the purpose, It's meant for flying, not for kiting, but I can see where it could be used. But rather interesting, yeah.
Yeah, so pretty fun. I did want to mention some details about forward launching with your paramotor, things you need to look out for. There's 2 different ways that you can launch when you're free flying. You can actually put your lines up like this, hold your A's right here like this. If you got bad shoulders, something like that. The only drawback with that is that your glider is going to want to shoot much harder. It's going to want to come up with much weirder, I should argue. It's going to bring the middle up first. And so you're going to have to, you can practice that over and over again and get excellent at that. But there's something about that. So, okay. Also, when you're launching the motor, you're kind of cornered to that stretched out launch technique. You can't really be launching like, I guess if your hands are way up high, but then you got your restrictions based on where your swing arms, how high they are, how deep you are in the seat, and all those things. But I think it's important that you're balancing your launches. Once you're and this is something that we're going to talk about with Phil. I had this long, like an hour conversation with Phil about launch technique with a paramotor. You're going to want to use the power of your motor to launch and none of your feet to launch. So why would you use your feet if you've got the power to launch yourself without it. So literally you should be just using your feet as poles, keeping you from going down into the dirt. That's all they're there for, not to power your launch. And this is the really hard thing for free flight guys that are segueing into paramotoring, because we all want to do the same thing. What is it? Torpedo, lean forward. What's happening when you lean forward? If I'm leaning forward, my thrust is going out this way, and I'm pushing myself into the ground. And this is why you see people face plant and taking a dive and breaking stuff. I've seen guys completely turtle all the way over and blow up their prop on the ground in front of them. It's horrible. And how does that happen? Well, you're trying to run and you're giving it power maybe, and that power is pushing it down. So, okay. Yeah, posture. So launching into, I guess that first couple of steps, you're going to have to get the wing away from that blast of air. So I would argue that the only power that you really need is that first section until the wing is like right here, so that as that wind blasts by, you're not just ripping your glider up. Because I've done it where I've blasted into this and this wing just, and then it comes up and you can't, it sends a bunch of weird messages to your hands. You're like, what just happened? You gotta wait, try to bring the wing up to about this place, and then power. If you're doing reverse launches.
And that's where you get kind of used to the feeling of where you're leaning back and trusting that motor. You're giving the throttle to where that motor's pushing you forward. Even though you're leaning back a little bit, you're still moving forward. You know, think of it like this. The chicken kicks his legs and the poop chute's pushing you.
Yeah.
You know, you kick those little stubby legs, let the poop chute push you, and up you go. You know, and kick those legs. Don't stop kicking those legs. That's another thing I've noticed from people is that they get kicking their legs. They think they've ran hard enough and they can stop. They just sit down in the seat. No, don't just jump in the seat, because there's times where you might come back down. You might have hit a spot where there isn't lift and there's sink. You came in lift and then you went out of the lift and you hit a little bit of sink and you right back down on the ground, you know, kick those legs.
We've got Hot Butter Seed said, if you use your feet, you're going to have bad posture and get drilled. I struggled with pitch control so bad, starting between posture, power, and brake. So true. Ferret 0007 said throttle control is important. Roll on, not kung fu grip, or you'll be fighting pitch oscillation. That's so true. You have to be careful. There's a handful of little things that you're doing with your launches that are killing you every time. And you have to narrow those things down and get better each time that you're flying, better each time that you're launching, so that every launch is perfect. You watch the OGs where it's free flight or paramotoring, and they get it right on the first time, every time. How is that? Well, maybe it's just years and years of practice. Maybe it's that they've taken their time, but whatever they did it right. And that's what you should be doing too. So how do you get there? Well, it's watching Paragliding Talk and analyzing your stuff and listening and taking notes and being passionate about your craft. This is your craft. This is what you're crazy about. Be the best that you can possibly be. I want to, spice it up a little bit here. What are you doing, Wolf? You want to jump on here? Dave Wolf, Rip man, what are you doing, Rip? Why are you hiding, bro? He's keyboard warrior tonight.
Ripa said he's got his video queued up, but
yeah, I want to see it. He needs to jump on here. Got James said, feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. It's paramotor time. Best comment of the night. Throw your clips on Facebook for people to rip you apart. Laugh out loud. I do that on YouTube. You just got to do it. Let it rip. Chris Altmaier. Dude, this guy was on paramotor. What's it called? Oh man, horrible. Grandpa PPG. My mom has their show. Oh, Clear Prop. Jeez, how could I forget that? Chris Allmeyer was on Clear Prop. You got to go back and watch that episode. Walter Priori says timing. Yes, that is exactly right. Timing is the most critical thing. I'm not available for video, if you know what I mean. Whatever. Should probably sit on the toilet.
He has to wash his hair.
He's in his pajamas.
No, he's dropping a deuce. He logged in because he's stuck with his phone. There's nothing else on the internet right now. Eating dinner, boys. Late night, Gringo, Robert, Sean. Late night, 6:45. It's only 6:45.
Yeah,
late.
that's right. That's right.
Rip.
Nothing, no time counts but our time.
Yeah. Mom. Yeah, so it's been great. Let me mention a couple sponsors real quick before I forget and we run out of time. MaxAcro.com. If you don't know Max Marion, he runs a SIV clinic. It's amazing. They do SIV clinics here in Southern California. Wherever you're out in the country, you should fly in to do it. So you fly to come and fly. It's amazing. The SIV training that I did with him was a game changer and really encouraged it covered up a lot of my fears of unknowns. And your wing is an actual modern marvel, and it wants to fly, and it's amazing, and you can trust it way more than you realize. You'll find that out in an SIV. So maxacro.com is the website. Go check that out and sign up for some of his courses and get yourself an SIV under your belt. Even if you only just do one, go and check it out. I plan on doing more because they are amazing, and you can learn so much, and you can take it to the next level. Also, want to mention the guys out in iFly Indiana Power Paragliding. So if you're interested in flying paramotors, no better place to get proper training than iflyindiana.com. Kevin and his team will get your feet off the ground. That's who you're going to want to sign up with. Or if you're in the Lone Star State of Texas, you can sign up with Ron Turan. He has a great organization over there. They're awesome. Ron Turan's website is actually LoneStarParamotor.com. Go check them out, sign up so you can get some paramotor training. It is amazing. You're going to love it. So LoneStarParamotor.com. Many people here tonight, literally just because the entire country is frozen. I'm glad you're here, though. It's not freezing here. It's actually ridiculously nice. On Christmas Day, it was 80 degrees. The rest of the country was below freezing.
It was below freezing here. Now it's 55 degrees.
Really?
Yeah. That's what I'm
55?
saying.
I think it's 55 here.
Well, in Ohio it is.
Wolf. I told you he was on the toilet. He sent me a picture of a message. That's pretty funny. Yeah, man. I'm telling you. Very, very cold outside. Angela, so 25. Robert, don't watch your mom on the panel every week on Clear Pop. Angela, I was there. I was actually on the show. I came in to troll Altmaier, actually, and it was pretty fun. Yes, I don't always watch because I get like 2 days to fly. So she does the show on a flying day for me. It's very difficult to justify, like, I'm going to go watch my computer when it's flyable. I can't do it. I do it on Thursday nights because I have to. It's part of my punishment for trying to self-teach. This is my community service to the flying community. I don't know how long this is going to go on, but it feels like forever. I'm just kidding. I love doing this. Yep. Bill H said it's warm here in Louisiana. Mm-hmm. Yep. The flying, is that Daughtries? How do you say that? Daughtries. Flying Daughtries. Welcome. I don't think I've ever seen you in the chat. I'm glad you're here.
Oh yeah, they've been here. They've watched many shows of ours.
Really?
Big fans.
Daughtries.
Big fans.
Well, that's awesome.
I
obviously-
recognize them because I always put their names in the wheel seat.
Aha. Aha. Also, Hot Butter Steve said Altmaier had a good time. I think he did too. Lord Mark Rogers, 30s here tonight. It has warmed up. No more snow here. Yeah, he's up there in Washington. Shane
25.
Shane said 51 tonight driving home from Detroit. Wait, what? It's 51 in Detroit tonight? No way. That's crazy. Copay J, 1,000 more hours.
He was replying to your comment about how long you've been doing this and how long you enjoy doing it. So
you're
your
right.
show.
Thank you for clarifying that. That was confusing for a second. Copay J. I wonder how he got the name Copay J. Huh.
We'll have to ask him.
Yeah, I need to know. I'm interested.
Everybody's flying Ocotillo Saturday morning.
Yeah, I got the invite. We're going to
So,
be out. We
I'll
got
be
other
home.
stuff going on.
I'll be home Friday late evening, so I'll pack my motor right when I get home, and I'll try and make it.
Oh, you're probably itching for a flight.
Yeah, big time. It's crazy. 25.5 degrees Celsius here. Tell me, they're all looking it up. How much is Fahrenheit? It's like 78, 80 degrees.
That's a little warm.
Still in Mexico till tomorrow.
Mexico. David Andrade.
Uh-oh. Sean's going off, blocking a site.
Yeah, that's garbage.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Don't be looking at porn, guys. It messes you
We
up.
ain't got time for that here.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
That's right.
It warmed back up. Yeah, so every once in a while, I just feel like we need to have a show where we just shoot the breeze. I did have something lined up, and I decided, I'm just gonna chill. It's kind of like a
Now,
vacation weekend.
Did you happen to get a chance to look at that clip that I sent you, Robert, in the chat?
Oh no, I did see that though.
Yeah.
Fly bubble.
Yeah, it was very, very interesting. And it follows along the lines of exactly what we were talking about with board launching and making sure that your glider is laid out correctly, and procedures to keep your lines, make sure your lines aren't knotted up, make sure everything's where it should be before you go running anywhere or doing anything with your wing.
Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
I'm smelling what you're stepping in.
Yeah.
Mopping up what you're spilling.
Hopefully that's like flowers.
There's Mom.
Hi.
Mom, did I tell you Callan drew a picture of you? Look at right behind the microphone. See it?
He
I
did?
thought that was Ryan.
Oh, shit.
Is that me?
Yeah, that's you, Mom. See, those are your shoes.
That's very cute.
I'm just kidding. I thought that was the best. And I'm like, you know what? This kid he spent some time drawing that. Okay. And then he comes and gives it to me. And you know what I was going to do? I was just going to throw it away. And I thought, no, you can't do
No,
that.
don't.
Spend a bunch of time drawing this.
You
I gotta
send
put
it-
this up.
Send it to me. I'd put it on the refrigerator.
Yeah. See, Mom would put it on the refrigerator.
Yeah, I would. That's so cute.
Yeah. I'm not so
He's really
cold-hearted.
good. He's well, you know how to draw really good, so that's where he gets it from.
See, Mom,
And I know how to paint, and I paint.
yeah.
Well, I draw and paint, right? Guess you have to.
See, moms are so skilled at lying that you will believe them. You know, Mom would go, I'm drawing this garbage. And she would say, that is so good. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. I know how to draw real good. Good draw. And
I'm going to quit school and
Yeah.
be a professional artist
I'm gonna be an artist.
at the age of 8.
I'm gonna be an
Yeah.
artist doctor.
You do draw good, though. You still do.
Yeah. DP
Are
said
we-
Scrooge Michaels. Scrooge McMichaels.
See, this is why I need my green screen.
And that's why And that moment, his heart grew 2 times too big.
I'm getting my green screen. I got my green screen, and then I'm getting the stand the end of next week. So I'll be able to put a really cool background like you guys and be cool like Sean,
You know what? I gave
I'll
up
be
on
cool
the
like Sean
fake
with my
backgrounds.
background.
Yeah, I used to do it. And you know what? You're really cool if you just let it rip. Whatever you got going on in the background, you just let it rip. Who cares?
I found there's a trick behind it. One, have good lighting in front of you.
Yeah, that's important.
And then really, as long as you don't have a bunch of stuff moving in the background, you can have a background and it's
Well, look
just
at
like
my
a
background.
green screen.
Look at my okay. It's like,
Well, yeah, but my background's just as active as yours, Linda. It's just the fact of my lighting is all set in the front of me, and everything that's in the forefront is me. Everything that's in the background is completely hidden from the
Yeah.
illuminated background.
yeah, see, I can like give a virtual tour just sitting here. Well, you can see I can give you a virtual tour of all my paintings that I have hanging in my apartment that I did this past year.
We don't need you to do that, Mom.
No. Anyway, as they all leave
You
the
just follow
chat.
Mom on
Well, this has
Facebook.
been fun.
You can see all the stuff. Just so you know, when I was on ClearPop, I kept on trying to ClearPop. Oh, ClearProp. Sorry, Mom.
Couldn't even remember the show. I was so embarrassed.
My brain just wouldn't let me remember, but I was looking for the mute button. Mom kept on saying stuff that was controversial, and I'm like, gosh, where's the dang mute button? But I was a guest and I didn't have that power. I'm like, oh my gosh, there we go. Mom's muted now. Yeah, so it is really important, by the way, to take the criticizing from people. Let the guys that are with you that are teaching, that are telling you stuff, they're not telling it to you because they want to rule over you and that they want to just show how much better they are. I mean, there's a handful of guys like that out there. Whatever. But for the most part, everybody's giving you this criticism to help you. So never stop learning and don't turn away people's stuff. If anything, if they're giving you bad information, you'll be able to pick it out pretty quick. But yeah, what I suggest is asking the questions, being around people that are good. It's worth it. Yeah, it's hard to stay humble, especially the more that you learn. You're gonna have people asking you questions. You're gonna be like, well, I'm still learning. I'll give you this is a very important tip. This is for free flying. This is a huge tip. Don't try to guess the weather. Don't predict the weather. You're gonna disappoint yourself. You're gonna disappoint a lot of people. Until you are absolutely excellent, don't be messing with weather. I'm talking nanoclimates, not general. I mean, anybody can predict the general weather. That's the one job, by the way, you can be dead wrong every week, still have a job somehow. What's the deal with the weather, man? We were supposed to be post-frontal flying today. Nope. No flying happened today. We're going to go to the after show. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
They are amazing.
If you want to jump, if we can just put the invitation links in the description, if you guys can handle that, drop those in. We're going to go to the after show. I will share that video footage. I was talking about flying around in the little mini wing. I think we did it a couple weeks ago, so you probably already saw it if you were on that after show. But super fun, and we'll enjoy some time hanging out. David Wolf, no longer humble. Rip Man said is humble. That's pretty funny. Rip Man, you are humble, man. That's why you're so good.
Oh, yes. Please don't fill his head up. His head's already,
Nah, he's good.
Geez.
He's past that.
No, I love you, Rip.
Now, intermediate syndrome is going to come knock at your door for free flying. Be ready for that. That's where a lot of guys get beat up. Intermediate syndrome. Yeah.
Sean's going to teach me how to kite.
Yeah, you need to go through a Calamity Kite Clinic.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Go. I'm ready.
Happy New Year's. Yeah, we're gonna
Yes.
wrap this show up, going to the after show.
Happy New
That's
Year,
where the real
everybody.
stuff happens, guys. You want to join in the after show,
Much
come on
love.
over. So everybody in the chat is welcome. Well, I think we can fit like 47 people. So if you want to jump on, you're welcome to. I'll be
right.
letting people
Come
in
on
right
in.
now as you're logging in. Paraglidingtalk.com. Don't forget about Resurgence PPG. It's the end of the year. You want to give away some of your hard-earned tax money. Either give it to the government or you have to spend it, and you've got to find a 501c3. Resurgence PPG is the spot to do that. Resurgencepppg.com. It is a 501c3, so you can donate. It is tax deductible, and then everybody's happy, except for Joe. He doesn't get any of your money. So do that. Sign up with Resurgence PPG, and we'll have a great time. We're going to go to the after show. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night and a happy new year. We'll see you on the next one. Don't forget about next week's show. It's going to be a doozy, and we'll have a great time. We're going to the after show.
See you Monday.
Monday. Yeah, go watch Mom's show, Clear Prop.
Jesus,
is it clearprop.com?
I gotta train you.
Is that the web? Do you have a website?
I believe it's clearproptv.com, but
clearproptv.com.
Clear prop.
Come on. Don't worry, I'll mute her. There we go, guys. Now we're good. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great night. We'll see you on next week, Thursday night, 6 p.m. Pacific time.